Magnemite and Magneton, the Magnet Pokemon. Welcome everyone, I'm Exceptional and I hope you are too. Today we will be defeating Pokemon FireRed, including the Round 2 Elite Four, using only our starter that I will allow to evolve. I've been having a lot of fun with Gen 3 Pokemon lately, so it seemed like a good idea to come back to our roots with a Gen 1 Pokemon that has a splash of Gen 2 flavor. Originally, the Magnemite line were a mono-electro types, but with the introduction of the Steel type in Generation 2, it became an Electric Steel type. This adds some advantages and disadvantages throughout the run. Steel is hands down one of the best defensive typings in Generation 3, giving us damage resistances to the majority of types. It does, however, also augment our existing weakness to ground moves from 2 times to 4 times. This is going to cause a lot of problems in this run that I had not anticipated. Leading up to Brock, we have an interesting ordeal. Magnemite has great defense and special stats for a first stage Pokemon, but we can't use our special stat at all because Brock's Rock and Ground type Pokemon are immune to Thundershock. This leaves us 4 options for dealing damage. Coming off of our much lower physical attack, we have Tackle, which is also resisted, Struggle, which isn't resisted but deals recoil damage, Supersonic at level 11 to rely on Confusion Luck, or Sonic Boom at level 16, which will absolutely win us the fight. I highly suspect that we're going to need to be level 16, but I'm more than willing to shave off some grinding and try earlier. Regardless, this won't be possible without at least level 11 for Supersonic. Because of our Steel typing, we will resist Rival 1.5, so my first stop is to take him out. As you can see, I've chosen the Charmander team for our rival. I hummed and hawed about this for a little while, but decided that Charizard's speed and fire moves would be more threatening than the Venusaur team, and it puts us against Exeggutor in the late game, who has proven to be problematic in the past. Next, I set the cruise control through all of the trainers in Viridian Forest. I stopped at the first tree to grab the hidden antidote, paused, and realized that as a Steel type, I'm immune to poison moves, then carried on. Stab, or same type attack bonus, Thundershock, backed up by our fantastic 95 base special attack, allows us to absolutely destroy all of the bug catchers in here. I'm also stopping to defeat every wild encounter that I find along the way because, well, might as well. I suspect we're going to need it. Once we're in Pewter City, I head to the gym to face Camper Liam. His level 10 Geodude should be a fantastic preview of how the Brock fight is going to go. While the Chip Fest plays, I'll take a moment to explain our nature. I chose a modest nature, increasing special attack and decreasing attack, because my initial assumption was that after getting Sonic Boom, I'd never need my physical stat again. We'd only be dealing 1 damage with Tackle after a defense curl or 2 anyways, so I felt this was the best option. Camper Liam actually went fairly well, so let's try Brock. Time to stick the footage on Turbo. Of the 23 turns against Geodude, he ends up hurting himself from confusion only 6 times, but that, in combination with him snapping, us missing the 55% accurate Supersonic, us missing tackles, and him missing tackles, I'd say that this fight was unlucky, but not outlandishly so. We take down Geodude with only 4 health remaining. Extrapolating from those results and knowing that Onix will deal significantly more damage, I feel like it's safe to say that we're off to the grass for some training. Magnemite is an interesting one to choose where to grind. In the early game, there are 4 main EV stats that I can target. Attack is useless, so we can rule out Route 22 immediately. The areas surrounding Viridian Forest give primarily speed EVs from Pidgeys and Rattatas, but inside the forest gives speed, HP from Caterpies, and defense from the Cocoons. HP EVs are kind of meh, but speed and defense will be useful. At base 70 speed as a Magneton, we'll need additional speed to avoid hits later, and the defense to tank ground-type moves, which there are a lot of. Like, way more than I'd initially anticipated. After nearly doubling the time on the timer since our last attempt at Brock, we're level 16 and have Sonic Boom. Both of his Pokemon have just over 30 health, and with Sonic Boom being a fixed damage move at 20 damage, we need 2 hits to take down his Geodude and then his Onix. Our Steel typing keeps us safe from excess damage, and just like that, we're moving on. After the time we invested in order to defeat Brock, I only clear the mandatory trainers through Route 3 and Mount Moon. I have the sneaking suspicion that we aren't going to struggle much with the next gym as we have a type advantage against Misty. On the way through Mount Moon, I also pick up the Dome Fossil because the love has been real in the comments section. My decision on which fossil to grab is yours, so let me know in the comments which I should grab next run. My confidence going into the Misty battle is real, so I head straight to the gym once we hit Cerulean. I skip the trainers and with my Persimberry equipped start the battle. Staryu goes for hard in turn 1 while we get an Oko, or one-hit knockout with Thundershock. Exactly as I anticipated. Starmie comes out and hits a critical Water Pulse, taking down Magnemite with an Oko of her own. Alright, surely that was just bad luck. I try again immediately, taking down Staryu again. Starmie comes back out and is doing well over half with Water Pulse, which makes sense considering the one-shot last attempt. Our Thundershock is also doing over half, but because Starmie outspeeds, it takes us down again. Alright, my initial assumption was wrong, but that's what the first playthrough is all about. I always play it blind to really feel out what it's like to play each Pokemon. I find it to be more fun for a first playthrough than doing a bunch of pre-run number crunching and routing like I do for my second playthroughs. I feel it gives the runs a much more organic feel, and you all get to learn along with me. Since Misty isn't happening right now, let's check out Rival 2. Much to my surprise, against his lead Pidgeotto, we actually outspeed. Pidgeotto has a base speed of 71 compared to Magnemite's 45. We are 2 levels higher, but those extra EVs are already coming in handy. We OHKO with Thundershock. I'm expecting a fire move from Charmander, but instead he just goes for Growl, allowing us to get an easy 2-shot. His remaining Abra and Rattata are of no consequence to us for an easy victory. I was pleasantly surprised by this, and now we know that next playthrough we battle him first. I clear out Nugget Bridge and save Bill from becoming the 2004 remake of The Fly. This brings us back to Misty at level 23, so let's see how much of a difference a few levels makes. Staryu still outspeeds, but remains intent on using Harden while we OHKO. Against Starmie, we now have enough special defense to survive 2 Water Pulses. Hooray! Our Thundershock doesn't quite get the one-shot, but knowing we can take 2 turns of damage means we're good. Unless she confuses us with our next Water Pulse. Somebody forgot their Berry. We lose the 50-50 coin toss and hit ourselves in confusion, allowing her to knock us out again. In the next battle, we're subjected to a little more bad luck as Starmie crits on turn 1, bringing us to deep red bar. We can take 2 hits, but not 3, so the crit seals our fate again. Alright, once more please. In this attempt, she manages to get another 20% confusion chance, but our Berry activates and we take her down. Alright, awesome. Let's get all of the bad luck out in the first playthrough. Our next major battle pits us against Rival 3 on the SSN. Pidgeotto is once again an OHKO, bringing out his biggest threat to us, Charmeleon. We get some luck back in our favor with our Thundershock getting a crit for the OHKO. We level up learning Spark, which gives us an increase from 40 base power with Thundershock to 65. His Raticate and Kadabra both fall easily. Lieutenant Surge is the Electric-type leader, so Magnemite should, in theory, have neutral odds in this battle. We resist him, and he resists us. I elect to go with Spark, as despite it being resisted, I feel it's going to be doing more damage against Voltorb and Pikachu. After a few turns of us missing and being fully paralyzed, and Surge getting a crit, he takes us down. On the next attempt, Voltorb uses Sonic Boom, so we come back to Raichu at much lower health. We miss a bunch more because of Raichu's love of Double Team, and end up with another loss. Alright, I'm not gonna lie to you all. My decision making here led to things getting messy. Very messy. I felt like Surge wasn't going to be consistent, but fortunately we can always backtrack to him later with relative ease, so I decided to push forward to Rock Tunnel. I proceed along Route 9 to the Poké Center on Route 10 before the tunnel. I make sure to pop into the center as we'll want to be able to fly back here later. Things in Rock Tunnel are going okay, but we have to be very careful. I'm targeting the hikers that have teams with Machop and Onix to avoid Geodudes, because Geodude has Magnitude. Magnitude is a ground-type move, and its base power is one of 7 random values with varying probability. The most likely is Magnitude 7 at a 30% chance with a base 70 power. Because of our 4 times weakness though, that's a 280 base power. Add Geodude's Stab and that becomes 420 base power. This is a problem. I managed to get most of the way through the tunnel, but encounter a big problem in Hiker Dudley. He's a mandatory clear and has a team of 2 Geodudes and a Graveler. You may know him from Generation 1 as the infamous self-destructing hiker, but he has 3 Pokemon, each with a quarter, roughly, shot of using Magnitude. Our best move against him remains Sonic Boom. His Geodudes have 47 health and Graveler has 54, so we need 3 Sonic Booms to take each of his Pokemon out. Minimum. Remember that Sonic Boom only has 90% accuracy, so it's likely that one of those 9 will miss. That also means that I have to roll the dice on his move choice a minimum of 9 times. That gives us roughly a 7% chance of making it through without seeing a Magnitude. At this level, we can only survive a Magnitude of 6 or lower from the weaker Geodude, so that cuts that further to around 2%. My stats and probability is a little rusty, so feel free to correct my numbers here, but my point is, Magnemite, meet wall. After 2 very conclusive wipes, I cut my losses and backtrack through the tunnel. If I'm grinding levels, I might as well defeat Surge along the way. See what I mean by things got really messy? On my way back to Vermilion, we level up to 30, evolving into Magneton. With that increase in power, I felt confident that Surge would fall, giving us some much-needed experience. Back at Lieutenant Surge, my mistakes continue. I was feeling very flustered at this point. I expected this run to be challenging, but this has been something else. Voltorb and Pikachu are both one-shots, but because Spark is considered a contact move, we activate Pikachu's static, revealing my mistake. Somebody forgot their cherry berry. Because of losing turns to Paralysis and Raichu's double teams, he whittles us down for another reset. In the next attempt, we get static from both Voltorb activating our berry and Pikachu. We come back into Raichu at full health but paralyzed. This time though, we connect with enough moves to finally bring him down. Alright, poof, we're back at Dudley. I couldn't come up with any better strategy than what we've already tried, but now we're evolved and we can survive up to a magnitude 8 from Geodude, so we have a little bit more breathing room. Not if he crits though. Oh. I have 2 options here, smash my face against Dudley hoping for decent luck, or grind and hope for one of my Meowths to pick up TM10 hidden power. Dudley RNG seems more likely, so here we are. Wait a minute, are we at Graveler at almost full health? It's a range, but we can survive up to a single magnitude 8 from Graveler. Turn 1 he uses Defense Curl, oh baby, come on. Turn 2 he uses Defense Curl, alright, 90% chance that we hit, and get out of here. Dudley falls, and at nearly 50 minutes into the run, we're finally moving into the mid-game. I start my typical mid-game chores, and now that we're rolling, we're steamrolling. I just have to remember to be careful around those pesky ground types, like in the Giovanni fight in Rocket Hideout, where I didn't manage my power points effectively and run out of Sonic Boom. I just hit the reset here, no point in dragging that one out. With moves that hit him, he falls, and it's time to face down Rival 4 in Pokemon Tower. Magneton is such an interesting Pokemon to run because it's so stuck in its limited moveset. I'm definitely hunting for TM10 hidden power, but haven't found it yet. I've elected to use HP Ice to solve ground types, and I felt like it rounded out our type coverage the most. It's also in this battle that I finally noticed that my nickname is spelled wrong. Gauss is the unit of magnetic flux density, which seemed appropriate for the magnet Pokemon. I guess we're so magnetic that we attracted an extra S. Oh yeah, Rival 4 is super easy. What awaits us at the top of the tower is less so. This level 30 Marowak knows Bone Meringue, which essentially hits for the same effective power as Earthquake. That's the bad news. The worst news is that we need 5 Sonic Booms to defeat it. The worser news is that Sonic Boom remains our best option. Our best alternative attacking option here would have been Return, and even at the maximum 102 base power, we'd still need 5 to 6 hits. Somehow, the stars align, and on our second attempt, Marowak forgets her signature move and we take her down. Our next stop is Silphco, where you best believe that I'm collecting every single high-value item and vitamin in here. I am, however, not defeating any additional trainers as I don't want all of the attack EVs that they provide. I did, however, clear the channelers in Pokemon Tower for the special attack EVs. While we're here, we might as well take a shot at Rival 5. Against his lead Pidgeot, we outspeed and get a clean OHKO with Spark. Against his Charizard, not so much. We miss the one-shot, allowing him to fire back with Flamethrower, taking us out from full. I try once more in case we got an unfavorable range, but it's the exact same story. I pop over to the Celadon department store to sell our non-essentials and buy vitamins. I focus entirely on special attack with calciums as we couldn't use a single Carbos due to our grinding before Brock. I burned my remaining cash on Iron for defense and went straight back to Rival 5. We OHKO Pidgeot and out comes Charizard. He holds on with a sliver but gets paralyzed and fully paralyzed. That was lucky. I switch to Sonic Boom because reasons and miss. Oh no, but he's fully paralyzed again! Sonic Boom then takes him out. I should have just stuck with Spark. We can then take out his remaining team as none of them really pose much of a threat to us. Alright, the plan worked. Let's clean up Silphco so we can defeat Sabrina before moving on. I'll just battle this incredibly forgettable rocket here quickly. Oh, right. Another Marowak that has Bone Meringue. I'll just try again. But then his Cubone takes us out with a wombo combo of Bone Meringue and Rage. I can't believe I just lost to Rage from a Cubone. So I hear Fuchsia City is lovely this time of year. Let's check out what's happening down there. I grab the gold teeth and surf from the Safari Zone, then detour east to grab another TM. On Route 15, if we head almost all the way out, cut the bush, and then head all the way back on the north side of the ledge, we can grab TM18 Rain Dance. This move is going to combo very nicely with Thunder, which we can pick up anytime after defeating Koga and gaining the ability to surf. Speaking of Koga, let's defeat him while we're in town. We either resist or are immune to all of his moves, so he's a pretty straight battle for Gauss. The only lesson that I brought out of this battle is that next run I'll be teaching Shockwave earlier. We have 2 essentially dead moves in our moveset, and that muck sure is annoying. It'll also give us more PP to work with in the mid-game. I might as well continue gaining experience wherever I can before facing down that terrifying Cubone back in Sylph. In Celadon, I clear the trainers on the right side of the gym for the special attack EVs and take on Erica. With a Cherry Berry equipped, we can outmaneuver her lead Victory Bell. Because of our high level, despite the resistance, we then Oko Tangela, and her Ace Vileplume is last, and we get a little luck paralyzing her and dodging a Stun Spore, but since we resist her grass moves, we had this one in the bag. Alright Rocket Man, you're up here all alone, let's burn out your fuse. You may notice that I now have Tri-Attack on our moveset, as at this level we're finally doing more damage than Sonic Boom. That only took 30 levels. Tri-Attack is actually a really nifty move. It has a 20% chance of either inflicting a burn, paralysis, or freezing the target. Against Cubone we get a paralysis before taking it out. Okay, Marowak, this is a complete lottery, and on the second turn we get a crit taking it down. Yes! Drowsy is then an easy cleanup. My goodness, I never thought that that'd be a battle I'd commentate. Oh, electric types in FireRed, you have such a unique challenge in this game. Speaking of, we lead right into Giovanni, who, yes, I did save before, I just cut it out because otherwise this video is going to be so long with all of these sticking points we're encountering. We take out his lead Nidorino without any issue. Nidoqueen, however, paralyzes us on turn 2, which leads to another reset as she double kicks us into oblivion as we're fully paralyzed twice. I took a quick look in my bags to find alternate options and found my salvation. When the heck did I pick up Hidden Power? I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth, so I teach it immediately. This fight is drastically different now. Nidoqueen now falls in 2 hits of HP Ice, followed by Kangaskhan and 2 Sparks, and Rhyhorn gets OHKO'd with another HP Ice. Now, at long last, we have some type diversity on our moveset, and we're in much better shape. I clear every trainer in Sabrina's gym for the special EVs and then take her on. As a steel type, we resist every move she can throw at us. Gauss blasts through her team without any issue. I quickly fly back to the Poké Center on Route 10 before Rock Tunnel. I'm making a quick detour to the power plant by surfing down the eastern edge of the map. Inside we find ourselves TM25 Thunder. Magneton does not learn this move naturally, but in combination with TM18 Rain Dance that we picked up on Route 15, we now have a base 120 stab electric move that will bypass accuracy checks in the rain. Because we're using the rain, I'd considered using HP Water as our hidden power type, but despite getting the 1.5 times damage multiplier in the rain, I still felt that HP Ice solved more problems. More on that later. I used the Poké Quiz mechanic in Blaine's gym on Cinnabar Island to bypass all of the trainers in his gym. Against Blaine himself, I kick off the fight using Rain Dance against Growlithe. Rain Dance has an added benefit of having the damage of fire moves, on top of giving Thunder 100% accuracy. Blaine's team gets swept. Jumping straight ahead to Giovanni, we find ourselves against the ground-type leader. All I have to say is, can you imagine this battle without HP Ice? With our extensive moveset options of Tri-Attack or Return, can you imagine the level we'd need to grind to either OHKO or survive his Earthquakes? Every Pokemon on his team can use Stab Earthquake. I'm all for challenges, but you gotta give me something to work with. Rival 6 is our last challenge before the Pokemon League. Despite the struggles we've encountered to this point, Magneton is actually a very powerful Pokemon, if you give it options. We set up the rain and then proceed to carve through his team with no issue at all, only 1 level above his ace Charizard. I want to give a quick shout out to either the live chat in one of my latest premieres or the comment section. I'm sorry, I can't remember who I was speaking to or where, but they let me know that there is not in fact a mandatory trainer in Victory Road. I thought that one of the 2 back-to-back cool trainers after the second last boulder puzzle were required, but they aren't. I love that I'm still able to learn more about this game every video. Improve a little bit every day, right? That's my motto. Welcome to the Round 1 Elite Four. Lorelei kicks us off, and as the Ice-type trainer from Gen 1, she is also unofficially a Water-type trainer. 4 out of 5 of her members have the Water typing, so can you guess how this goes? Thunder OHKOs her first 4 Pokemon with ease. Against Jinx, I could have played smarter. Oh my, I could have played a lot smarter. A Chesto Berry, setting up the rain again, anything. We come out on top, but at the end of the battle, we only have 3 health. Lesson learned. Bruno is quite threatening to us because of our steel typing. Both of his Onyxes have stab earthquake, so I take his lead out immediately with HP ice. His remaining team all have powerful fighting moves that we're also weak against, so against Hitmonchan I set up the rain while he counters ineffectively. Let's hope we've got the damage here. I use Thunder, bringing him to deep red bar and paralyzing while he misses Rock Tomb. We finish off Hitmonchan, but I do recognize my good luck against him. Hitmonlee is next, and Thunder misses the OHKO again, allowing Hitmonlee to hit a massive Brick Break for about 2/3 of our health. Yikes. I take it down, but Machamp is next. The best I can hope for here is a cross-chop miss, which we don't get. Alright, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. We wipe a few more times and go do some grinding. A fair amount of grinding. I also go back to the department store in Celadon, where if you go up to the roof, you can give the little girl one of each of the vending machine drinks for TMs. In exchange for a lemonade, she brings us TM33 Reflect, which will half incoming physical damage for 5 turns. In hindsight, I really should have grabbed this earlier. I ended up wiping a bunch of times against Bruno, starting at level 60, then 63, and now 65, bringing us over a few damage rounding thresholds. I just couldn't get the ranges that I needed to survive this battle. I can set up the rain against his lead Onix, as at this level he seems about 50-50 to use either Earthquake or Rock Tomb. I then take it out and OHKO is Hitmonchan with Thunder. Hitmonlee has the same base special defense as Chan, so he gets OHKO'd as well. Machamp is why I needed the extra level so badly, and we get the one-shot. I have no idea why I set up the rain against his final Onix. For the swag? Sure, let's go with that. I then OHKO it with 1 more HP ice. Getting past Bruno cost over 10 minutes, so let's hope that the rest of the league goes a little bit smoother. We have a big-time type advantage over Agatha, so Gauss channels his inner Adam West, going pow, 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 wham, blammo, kerpow, taking down Agatha with ease. Against Lance, somebody forgot to elixir, but that's okay, I think. I set up a Reflect because I'm pretty sure Aerodactyl knows Earthquake and is likely faster than us. Using Thunder without Rain only has a 70% accuracy, but we managed to hit through, knocking out Gyarados. Oh, is Lance perhaps stalling Reflect out? That's kinda cool. He sends out his 2 Dragonairs and Ace Dragonite, which are all HP Ice fodder. Nope, just looked it up. Round 1 Aerodactyl does not know Earthquake. That's what awaits us in Round 2. Bye, Lance! Alright, time for the Round 1 champion. I equip a Chesto Berry before the battle just in case Exeggutor gets cheeky. I set up the rain turn 1 against Pidgeot while he feather dances. That is the best possible outcome. We then OHKO it, outspeed and OHKO Charizard, Gyarados, and Rhydon with HP Ice. The rain fades as Alakazam comes out, so I set it back up and OHKO with another Thunder while tanking 2 resisted Psychics. Exeggutor is last and sets up Light Screen as we fail to OHKO because he's a big old coconutty troll. His best move against us is Giga Drain though, which we resist, so I'm not very threatened as we take him out. Oh my goodness, the entire first part of the game was a slog for Gauss, but I feel like we have a ton of good information for the next playthrough. But there's still the Round 2 League where almost half, yes, half of the powered up League Pokemon know Earthquake. Gauss clocks in with a Round 1 time of 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 42 seconds at level 68 with 29 resets. This took 5 hours and 55 minutes of game time. Welcome to the Round 2 Elite Four. The only additional chore I ran while clearing the Sevi Island plotline is grabbing the item finder and leftovers from beneath the Snorlax on Route 12. I feel like I'm gonna need it. Lorelei's Digong now loves setting up double teams, so we set up Rain and OHKO with Thunder. Piloswine is next, and wipes us out with a single Earthquake while we barely do half. I attempt again right away, and this time Digong tries taking us down using our own rain against us. 2 Surfs brings us down to 13 health as I try to set up Reflect as well for Piloswine. Even with a Blizzard miss from him, we miss the 2-shot, and yeah, that's not happening. Once more with perfect setup? Nope. Even behind Reflect having the damage, we take 70% of our health in a single shot. I use 2 rare candies, bringing us over the next damage rounding threshold, and get my perfect setup against Digong again. We take down Piloswine, but we're in kind of rough shape for the rest of the battle, and apparently forgot to equip my leftovers. The rain ends, so I try to set back up against Lapras. Well, it takes us out. I smarten up using Reflect turn 1 against Digong, so if it does use Surf, it isn't boosted, which happens here. Then I set up Rain Dance and take it down. Piloswine then takes us to only 15 health while we fire back 2 HP Ices. Cloyster is free with Thunder, bringing us back to Lapras. I risk the Thunder with no Rain, and we hit Oko! We're real low on health for Jinx though. I risk Thunder again and take it out. Haha, remember how Lorelei was the easy one? Alright, Bruno is a titanic problem. HP Ice strikes his lead Steelix for half, and we're done. After numerous more wipes and burning every rare candy that I had, we're now level 81. The AI in FireRed is quite quirky, and at this amount of speed, he now seems to want to use Rock Tomb every now and then. I also have my leftovers equipped so I can take out Steelix. Hitmonchan's Sky Uppercut only has 90% accuracy, and he fortunately misses while I set up the Rain and Oko with Thunder. Reflect wears off as we Oko Hitmonlee, bringing out his Ace Machamp. Thunder just barely doesn't get the one-shot, allowing him to take us out easily with a 400 base power Earthquake. Well, let's go grinding. I leave the league and come over to 7 Island of the Sevi Islands and make my way down the path to this little house. I had picked up the Versus Seeker earlier in the Vermilion City Pokemon Center, and these 2 cool trainers are going to be my grinding spot. The biggest advantage to this spot is that they're both high experience yield trainers, and the man inside the house will do the Chansey dance with you and heal your Pokemon to full. I feel like I'm gonna need to dance a few times here. I come back to the league at level 85, and the Lorelei battle brings us to 86. I try my best over and over against Bruno, but it's becoming clear that I simply cannot take the speed drops from Steelix. I have one last ace up my sleeve though. I decide to leave the league one last time, sacrificing our Rain Dance and Thunder strategy in favor of Thunderbolt, HP Ice, Reflect, and good old Substitute. Substrats best strats. We can now dance around Rock Tombs and Earthquakes with our Substitute as we establish it and Reflect to take down Steelix with our speed intact. Hitmonchan, Oko. Hitmonlee, Oko. Machamp misses a cross-chop as we fail to get the one-shot, but we're perfectly fine behind our decoy. He enters a healing loop, but because we outspeed, we can finally take him down. His second Steelix breaks our decoy with Earthquake, and we take it down with 2 HP Ices. Holy moly, everyone. I hope you appreciate me trying not to lean on my typical Substitute crutch, but come on, that was getting ridiculous. Agatha with Substitute isn't too bad, so I'll take a moment to reflect on my hidden power choice. Lorelei's Piloswine and both of Bruno's Steelixes have me seriously wondering if HP Water or maybe even HP Fire would have been a better choice for next run. We lose our effectiveness against Lance's Dragons, but I honestly don't feel like they're nearly as threatening. These leagues are going to take some serious testing. Dragon Doctoral Lance's Gyarados loves spamming Thunder Waves, so we hide behind our decoy, avoiding them. Earthquake tempts him a little too much though, breaking our sub, so with our Reflect up, I take it out. Thank goodness for Reflect, as Aerodactyl does no Earthquake in this round, smashing us for nearly 2/3 of our health, including the Reflect reduction. Here's the thing, his Lesser Dragonite also knows Earthquake, so if we didn't one-shot it with HP Ice, he would absolutely wipe us out. That's what you call a quandary. Thunderbolt handles Kingdra, and another 4x super effective HP Ice takes out his Ace Dragonite. Our last challenge is the Round 2 champion. With one of the most powerful and diverse teams in the franchise, he's a tall order. For his lead Heracross, we can use a similar strategy to Bruno's Steelix. It knows Earthquake and Rock Tomb, but because of our high speed, he wants to drop it with Rock Tomb. We can play around that using Substitute and Reflect before going for the KO. Tyranitar obliterates our decoy with, you guessed it, Earthquake, while we knock it out with 2 Thunderbolts. Gyarados is an easy Oko, bringing out Charizard. We would not survive this thing if we didn't outspeed, but fortunately we do, getting the Oko. Against Alakazam, I'm taking no chances and set up a new Substitute for safety before taking it down. Perhaps I was a little overly cautious at this point, as Executor comes out and we knock it out with a single HP Ice. Gauss has done it. What a ride this Pokemon has been, and oh boy do I ever have my work cut out for me planning a second playthrough. Gauss clocks in with a round 2 time of 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 54 seconds at level 89 with 40 resets. This took 8 hours and 5 minutes of game time. Alright, jumping right into the second playthrough, our Brock strategy remains the same. I know that I'm going to need level 16 to defeat him, so I start the grind immediately, knocking out every wild encounter I find while on the way to defeat Rival 1.5 and clear all of the bug catchers in Viridian Forest. I don't leave the forest right away, taking the time to grind our Thundershock PP all the way down before proceeding to Pewter. I snagged a couple of defense EVs in the forest, but feel that speed is going to be more important, so after healing, I grind in the grass just south of Pewter. I've kept our nature the same, and our ability the same, which I do have a spot for later in the run. I also keep our IV distribution the same as it's near perfect, giving us HP Ice again. After a second round in the grass, I defeat Camper Liam and go back to the grass to bring us to level 16. With Sonic Boom on our moveset, Brock is no issue at all. With some more optimal grinding, we've shaved just over 2 minutes off of our time from last run already. I clear Route 3 and Mount Moon, defeating a couple of extra trainers along the way. Only the convenient ones though, I'm not going out of my way to find more experience. As we leave the cave at level 20 this time, I grab the Dome Fossil because more of you supported the Dome Fossil in the last video. Cue the comment section debate. In Cerulean, I head straight to Rival 2 this time and wipe him out just as easily as last time. We're about to make our first change to the routing, which I'm quite proud of actually. On Route 25 after Nugget Bridge, I make sure to pull down Camper Flint, giving us access to TM43's secret power. This gives us a much better option over Tackle, and an added benefit that we'll soon see. Because of those extra few trainers along the way and clearing both trainers in Misty's gym, we can now Oko Staryu with Thundershock and level up to 26 learning Spark. Starmie hits Water Pulse, confusing us, but our Persimberry, which I remembered, activates, and with Spark being over 1.5 times more powerful than Thundershock, we can now Oko Starmie. I clear a couple of extra trainers on the SSN, targeting Sailors with Horsies for the special attack EVs. Coming into Rival 3, we're at level 29. Perfect. I want to evolve into Magneton before facing Lieutenant Surge. We finish off the rival, leveling to 30, and evolve into Magneton. Against Lieutenant Surge, both his Voltorb and Pikachu are one-shots. I use Secret Power against Raichu as Spark can't paralyze an electric type. Secret Power has a 30% chance of a secondary effect based on terrain. Most of the time in this game that's paralysis, but we're about to see a different mechanic. Hello Dudley, my old friend. I've come to kick your butt again. I wiped twice against him, but here are the changes I made to try and make things easier. His Geodudes have 47 HP. Our Secret Power does just enough damage to justify using it instead of Sonic Boom turn 1, as in Rock Tunnel the 30% chance effect is a flinch, potentially reducing the number of turns the Geodudes get. We get lucky in this battle, flinching both of them turn 1. Graveler is next, and though we don't end up needing it in this battle, I also have the Citrus Berry from Route 6 equipped for a little bit of extra safety. I do the mid-game chores and clear out the Rocket hideout. This time though, I come straight to Celadon Gym to face Erica. I defeat the trainers on the right-hand side for the special attack EVs. I desperately want TM10 hidden power, so I'm clearing everything that I can before encountering our next ground-type wall, Marowak at the top of Pokemon Tower. Despite coming in without any fantastic move options, we defeat Erica without issue. Our resistance to grass and immunity to poison throws a big ol' wrench in her effectiveness. I'll take a second to mention that last playthrough, by this time we hadn't even made it out of Rock Tunnel yet. In Pokemon Tower, I defeat Rival 4, and then clear all of the channelers for the special attack EVs and as many chances for our army of Meowths to pick up TM10 as I can muster. By the time we're at the top of the tower, I check my Meowths and no dice. Well, let's give this a shot. Marowak gets the best of us twice again, but with the power of secrets on our hands, we manage to get another paralysis and avoid getting blasted to bits with Bone Meringue. Okay, that wasn't too bad, but we're far from being in the clear. Next is Sylph, and after collecting all of the items and defeating a few trainers throughout, we still haven't found our TM10 boon, so it's time to leave. I buy all of my vitamins and grab Reflect from the department store and go down Cycling Road, avoiding all of the trainers for now. I want TM10, but not at the cost of all of those terrible attack EVs. I clear the Safari Zone and we find ourselves back at Koga. I did not go on to Route 15 this time to collect Rain Dance, nor will I be picking up Thunder. More on that later. This time I'm saving all of my money after maxing the vitamins for Thunderbolt before the Round 1 League. We're doing enough grinding that it won't be an issue. Koga falls even easier than last time without the chance to miss because we're using Shockwave. Well, there's nowhere else that's in our direct path to go to right now, so I return to Sylph to face down Rival 5. This time we're at a much higher level than last run, so I can take him down without issue, but he's, surprisingly, not the hardest challenge we face in Sylph. I teach Reflect before going into this battle, and let's see how this goes. Cubone's opening Bone Meringue only does around 40 damage behind Reflect. That is so much better. Tri-Attack gets a burn on the next turn, cutting his attack, so we're in good shape. Marowak comes out, and I get a crit on turn 2 again. Score! Drowsy is an easy cleanup. We aren't out of the woods yet because we still have Giovanni to deal with, and this time without HP Ice. I set up Reflect against Nidorino and just barely missed the Oko with Spark. We don't quite have the cash for Thunderbolt yet. Nidoqueen is out and we freeze her turn 1 with Tri-Attack. That is some incredible luck. She stays frozen for the entire time as we take her out slowly. Kangaskhan falls in 2 and then Rhyhorn takes 6 Sonic Booms to defeat. Remember how long this Rhyhorn took to defeat. We're going to have a massive problem on our hands very soon. I clear all of the trainers in Saffron Gym before taking on Sabrina. She's once again very easy, but we still have no hidden power. Next is Cinnabar, where I clear all of the trainers in Blaine's gym. In between I had the cash to buy Thunderbolt, so I teach it before engaging him. We're a higher level again this time, so despite using Thunderbolt instead of Thunder, we sweep through his whole team. And I have bad news. We still haven't found TM10 yet. This is a big potential problem with relying on hidden power, as it's entirely luck-based whether or not you find it. For the first time in a challenge run, I say yes to Bill outside Cinnabar Gym to do the first segment of the Sevi Island plotline. I usually save this until after the round 1 league, but we need hidden power for Giovanni. Or more levels. A lot more levels. I continue along, rescuing Lostel from the super scary Hypno, and racking my brain for dense areas where I can get some grinding in. There's still the water around Cinnabar, Cycling Road, the Fighting Dojo, I guess a select few trainers in Giovanni's gym, and after clearing all of those, I find myself on Route 15. This is the karmic balance returning to neutral after that Nidoqueen freeze. Finally, we get hidden power. We come into the Giovanni fight and steamroll him with HP Ice. Let's consider the alternative scenario though, battling him without HP Ice. Against his weaker lead Rhyhorn, our highest damage move outside Hidden Power would have been Return. At our current level of 65, we would still need 5 hits to knock out his lead. Just his lead. Remember that every Pokemon on his team has Stab Earthquake that hits us for 4 times damage. I could have built Magneton as a Toxic Staller, maybe, but that doesn't solve the Nidos and would have completely hamstrung us for the remainder of the run. This moveset is absolutely brutal. The thing that disappoints me the most is that we had saved over 10 minutes up to the point that we were forced to go TM10 hunting. Once finding it and defeating Giovanni, the run is now 5 minutes behind the previous playthrough. I guess these runs are all about experiencing the Pokemon, and, well, this is the Magneton experience in FireRed. Rival 6 is a cakewalk in the mid-60s, though. Shake it off, man. You're in the league now, and there's no room for hurt feelings. We're over-leveled and have the type advantage against 80% of our team. Suffice to say that Lorelei is no issue. I will admit that I was super flustered and frustrated again at this point, so I forgot to take a look at my notes that sit in front of me to know that we have to be at level 70 to hit the Thunderbolt ranges against Bruno. This costs us another 2 wipes before I square us up with rare candies. I was going to use the Rain Dance Thunder strats originally for the round 1 league, but after all of the grinding we had to do, I skipped them to try and regain some time. Good thing I calculated backup ranges. Now that I'm back on track, Bruno is a series of one-shots. I'm just gonna smush Agatha and Lance together because they're so easy at this level. Instead, I'll quickly reflect on the run so far. I don't like it. Because of time constraints, I don't have the option to redo it, but my goodness, once I get to the point where I start re-ranking Pokemon, I think Magneton is gonna be up there on the list. Magneton did need more grinding in preparation for the Round 2 League, but I was going to do that on Seven Island against trainers with experience yields of 8600 to 8800 in Sevault Canyon instead of like the 1/8 of that in the sections I did grind. But such is life when you're relying on the random number generator. Time for the Round 1 champion, but I mean, there isn't much for me to say here either. We one-shot his entire team without skipping a beat. A good piece of the testing and damage calcs I did was finding ranges in this league, but again, the TM10 grind changed everything. But this isn't the champion that really matters. That comes in the next league. Alright, I promise that I'm done complaining about the RNG of finding hidden power. It absolutely gutted me, but it's a big part of these games, and I do love these games. Magneton clocks in with a round 1 time of 1 hour, 41 minutes, and 59 seconds at level 72 with 6 resets. This took 6 hours and 17 minutes of game time. Alright, we know the score against Lorelei in round 2. Piloswine is the biggest threat, but we can play around that issue fairly consistently. I set up Reflect against Digong and then Oko it with Thunderbolt. Reflect saves us against a single Earthquake while we take down Piloswine with 2 uses of HP Ice, leveling up to 76. That's going to be important. I Oko Cloyster, her Ace Lapras, and then set up a decoy against Jinx. Look at her. I don't want to be lovely kissed by those lips. She's distracted with our substitute while Thunderbolt takes her down. Level 76 was important because now between Lorelei and Bruno, I use my last 9 rare candies to bring us up to level 85. In my testing, I discovered that this was the lowest level that Bruno was possible at. I take a deep breath. And let's hope that my planning doesn't lead us astray. Keeping our health as close to max and our speed intact is critical to this fight. Against his lead Steelix, I set up a sub turn 1 while he uses Rock Tomb. At our current speed, he will use Rock Tomb turn 1 most of the time. This allows us to get an HP Ice in while he breaks our sub. He will almost always go for Earthquake after the sub is up because the AI sees the knockout. A second HP Ice takes him out. I don't know why this is the case, but I'm assuming it's because Hidden Power is a normal type move, because every time Hitmonchan enters the battle, he will use Counter turn 1. I use this opportunity to set up a new decoy. I can then Oko with Thunderbolt. Hitmonlee is out, and it's the Hitmons we needed level 85 for. It guarantees the Oko and takes out Hitmonlee as well. The reason I haven't bothered with Reflect is because Machamp knows Brick Break and will shatter the wall. Thunderbolt does not one-shot him as he breaks our decoy, but now he's in a healing loop. This is perfect because it's allowing our leftovers to recover us to full health, which we need for the Steelix. Steelix is out and we use HP Ice while he uses Earthquake. His Earthquake is a range that we survive, but the reason we needed full health was because of our ability Sturdy. Sturdy prevents one-hit knockouts, so even if he hadn't rolled a low range like he did here, we would have survived regardless on 1 hit point. We then outspeed and finish the battle. Solving that Bruno fight is what it's all about. That was so satisfying. Sorry Agatha, with Substitute on my side and as a Steel type, you're about as non-threatening as it gets. Her Arbok does no Earthquake, but we outspeed and one-shot her entire team. Dragon Doctoral Lance goes almost identically to the last run, with the exception that we don't Oko the Kingdra. That's not an issue though. This battle is the reason that I chose to stick with HP Ice. I tried and tried, but could not find a solution against Gyarados, Aerodactyl, and one of the Dragonites knowing Earthquake, with Kingdra also being able to do some decent damage with Surf. This is usually my process of routing after the first playthrough. I find the hardest, latest battle in the game to figure out what's possible, then reverse engineer the rest of the run from there. Time for the round 2 champion. We're a slightly level lower than last time, but not by much. I set up my substitute against his lead Heracross while dodging the Rock Tomb speed drop. Things get a little dicey when he uses Earthquake multiple turns in a row, but fortunately he enters a healing loop, allowing us some recovery with leftovers. Against Tyranitar, I 100% needed a decoy up to not be wiped out immediately, so I take him out with 2 Thunderbolts while he shatters the sub with Earthquake. With his biggest threats out of the way, I can then Oko his Gyarados, Charizard, Alakazam, and Executor with HP Ice. Magneton has done it. What a ride that run was. For fun, I looked up newer generations of Magneton's moveset, and in the next generation, Generation 4, we would have had access to Flash Cannon, giving us a special Steel-type move. Imagine the possibilities. Magneton clocks in with a round 2 time of 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 49 seconds at level 87 with 6 resets. This took 7 hours and 17 minutes of game time. Alright, I'll now post up the time splits throughout both runs. We started by gaining over 2 minutes against Brock and lost a little bit of that time in our extra grinding before Misty. That extra grinding though pays dividends, defeating Lieutenant Surge a full 12 minutes and 18 seconds faster. We see a major fluctuation on the 4th badge because I defeated Erica much earlier on the 2nd run. At the 5th badge we see it level off again, still over 15 minutes ahead, but watch that lead slowly fall as we're doing significantly more grinding in the mid-game. It all falls to pieces between Blaine and Giovanni though when we spent nearly 20 minutes trying to find TM10. Despite that, we still clocked in over 5 minutes faster at the end of round 1, and by the end of round 2, we've saved a fantastic 30 minutes and 5 seconds, 2 levels lower with 34 less resets. On the tier list, this places Magneton between Cacturne and Houndoom. At first glance, I was like, what? No way. But Houndoom struggled plenty with certain fights, and its slow growth rate really had a negative impact on it. I feel this is a decent placement for Magneton, as without my very specifically set hidden power, it would be somewhere down in the F tier. If you've made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. After completing the scripting and editing to these runs, I have to say, I'm equal parts happy and upset to have done such a challenging Pokemon after the Gen 3 legendaries. It was a firm reminder that beating the Round 1 League at 53 minutes just isn't realistic most of the time. I hope that you enjoyed watching my struggles and that they sparked some ideas of your own. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to leave your love for your favorite fossil. I continue being blown away by the support and love that you all show for these videos. I hope I can continue to make you proud. If you feel like I've earned it, leave a like, and if you'd like to keep up with my future releases, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. As we all know on this channel, substrats best strats. Until next time, take care everyone.